Every night, as darkness settled over the forest, the wind began to howl through the tall trees. It slipped between the branches and whistled through hollows, making the leaves tremble and dance. To most, it was just another sound of the night, but to a little fox named Flicker, it was something far scarier. When the gusts roared and the branches creaked, he imagined terrible monsters prowling through the forest. He'd curl himself into a tight ball beneath his tail, trembling until morning came. "I wish the wind would stop," he whispered into the cold ground, his voice barely louder than the rustling grass. "If only it would leave me alone." One evening, the wind was different. It wasn't wild or angry. It was soft, like the sigh of a sleepy song. As Flicker hid beneath his tail, he heard a whisper drift close to his ear. "Don't fear me, little fox," the wind hummed gently. "I'm not here to scare you. I'm singing to the trees." Flicker lifted his head, his heart beating fast. He looked around, but saw only leaves swirling in silver moonlight. "Singing?" he asked uncertainly, his small voice trembling like a leaf itself. The wind swirled playfully through his fur, brushing his cheek like a cool paw. "Listen closely," it said. "You'll hear what I mean." Flicker crept out from his burrow, paws sinking into damp moss. The forest looked different now, calm and alive all at once. The trees swayed gently, their branches moving like dancers, and the leaves floated through the air like tiny glowing music notes. Each rustle, each whisper, each distant owl call blended into a strange kind of music. The forest wasn't growling or groaning at all. It was singing. Flicker's ears twitched as he followed the rhythm of the night. The moonlight shimmered across the clearing, and for the first time, the sound that had once filled him with fear made his chest feel warm and curious. He followed the melody until he reached the top of a windy hill. The stars above glittered like tiny candles, flickering to the same rhythm as the wind's tune. The breeze whooshed past his whiskers, carrying the smell of pine and starlight. It whistled through hollows and rocks, creating soft tunes that rose and fell like laughter. Flicker lifted his nose to the sky, closing his eyes to listen. The air wrapped around him, gentle and alive, and he felt something he hadn't felt before. Joy. The same sound that used to make him hide now made his fur shimmer and his heart beat fast with wonder. "You're beautiful," he whispered to the wind, and the wind laughed softly in reply. From that night on, whenever the wind began to sing, Flicker no longer hid beneath his tail. Instead, he'd climb the little hill and listen, letting the breeze ripple through his fur. He began to yip and howl along, his tiny voice joining the melody of the night. Sometimes the wind would echo back, turning his calls into a duet that drifted across the forest. The more he sang, the braver he felt. What was once a monster had become a friend who reminded him that fear can be changed by listening, by understanding, by daring to see things differently. The wind had always been there. It was his heart that had changed. Word of Flicker's nighttime singing spread through the forest. The deer paused their grazing to listen, and the owls turned their heads toward the hill, curious. Even the shy rabbits crept from their burrows to hear the strange, peaceful duet between fox and wind. Soon, every creature came to listen, their eyes glowing softly under the moonlight. Together, they discovered that the forest wasn't silent or scary at night. It was full of stories told in whispers, rustles, and songs. As the wind danced through the trees, it reminded them all. The sounds of the world aren't meant to frighten us. They're there to be heard, to be understood, and to teach us courage. Fear fades when we listen. Every sound has a story.